Most of the time, when you ask your opponent nicely, he or she will not give you his or her piece. So we have to not ask nicely. We have to forcefully take pieces from our opponent's hands. How do we do that? We do that using tactics. The most basic of all tactics that we must understand and use are forks, pins, and skewers. So today we are going to see how we can use these tactics in our games and what are these tactics. Let's start with forks. A fork is when you attack two pieces at the same time. As simple as that. So when you attack two pieces, opponent can only say one. He can't say both, right? If you look at this position, we have a pawn and a knight. If you promote the pawn, the queen will take it and we will still be losing. But in this position, we have a fork that wins us the game. Can you attack the queen and the king at the same time with your knight? Where shall we move our knight? We go to f6. We play knight f6 and we are winning the queen. King has to move, we take the queen. And now after we promote, we are going to win the game. So by attacking those two pieces, we got one piece. And that's it. The fork got us a great position. Let's have another look at another position. Here, there are a few more pieces. Can you find a fork that will get us one of black's pieces? White to play and win. You can pause the video and look and try. Uh, if you thought of knight to f6, attacking the rook and king, the problem is bishop takes the knight. So it doesn't win. So you have to keep looking. If you look hard enough, you will find the correct move. And that is queen g4, attacking the king and the rook. So after we play queen g4, the king has to move and we just pick up the rook. And we're completely winning. We won a rook. We won 5 points. Let's have a look at this position. Can you find the fork that will get us one of white's pieces? Black to play and win. Which two pieces can we fork? These two. And how? With the pawn. If the bishop had taken our pawn, we have queen taking back. So we would anyway win the piece. The bishop moves and now, of course, we take the knight. We were attacking a knight and bishop and we won the knight. Of course, he'll take the pawn, but we got a piece. We got 3 points. Where is the fork in this position? White to play and win. So when you think of forks, you should think about how to attack maybe king and one more piece. Because then king has to move and you'll take the other piece. Or you have to attack two pieces that are not defended. So when pieces are not defended, that's when they get attacked easily. So in this position, look at these two knights. They're both not defended, they're loose. And how do we fork them? We just play bishop to d5 and we will win one of the knights. Whichever knight is safe, we'll take the other one. If he moves this knight, we'll take this and again it'll be a fork to the king and rook. And we'll win more material. Okay. This is the toughest of all, out of all these 5 questions on forks. If you're white, what will you do? Think about what black is about to do. Well, black is about to play checkmate over here. Queen g2 is mate. So if you simply promote your pawn to a queen, you are getting a queen and you have still got an extra pawn, but black will give checkmate. We lose. So that is why we have to think really hard before making a move. Can you find the winning move? A fork that wins us the game, that gets us a great position. The move is to promote the pawn, but to a knight. Why knight? Then you're attacking the king and the queen. So it's a check. King had to move and we take the queen. Now there's no checkmate. And we're going to promote our pawn and we're going to win the game. Right? So this is how we can use forks to our advantage and win games. Let us move on to pins, the second of all basic tactics. A pin is basically when your opponent's piece cannot move. If you pin your opponent's piece, it can't move. For example, in this position, if you see the queen and the king, they're in the same diagonal, right? So how can we do a pin? We can play bishop c4. If queen takes it, rook will take the queen anyway. And the queen can't move because then it'll be a check. So we are basically pinning the queen. We pin the queen to the king. So the queen can't move out of this diagonal, and next move we're going to take it. If he takes, we take. So that's how a pin looks like. We make the piece unable to move. And pins happen when pieces are on the same line or the same diagonal. In this case, the same diagonal. In this position, where is the pin that we can do? You have to see which two pieces are in the same file or diagonal. You can see the queen and king. King is the victim of all these basic tactics usually. When king is involved in a tactic, it's usually bad. You will be able to win material. So how do we pin the queen? Don't play queen e1, then it's just an exchange. We want to attack with a lower piece, rook e1. So when we play rook e1, the queen can't move away, and we're going to take the queen. No matter what he does, we'll get the queen. If queen takes rook, we take back. We want the queen. In this situation, you are in a pin. Our queen's pinned. You can of course defend it, but they'll still take our queen. So now the task is not to do a pin to them. That wouldn't help because they'll get our queen. We have to find a way to save our queen from the pin, from the bishop taking it. So this is a very hard question. So you can pause and think, how can we unpin the queen or stop the bishop from taking the queen? Looks impossible, right? But there's a way. We can pin the pinner. The bishop is the one that's pinned our queen. We can pin the bishop. We're pinning the bishop to the king. So he can't take our queen. He can take the bishop, but we'll take back, and that queen's free to move. Right? We pinned his bishop to the king, so he can't move the bishop out of this diagonal. That's the way to do it. Okay, here, can you find out which piece is pinned already? One of white's pieces is already pinned. Which piece is that? Which piece cannot move? You can see the knight over here cannot move. So it's an absolute pin. An absolute pin is when the king is the one that the piece is pinned to. If you imagine this was a queen, then the knight can move, but if the knight moves, we'll still get the queen. So it's not an absolute pin, it's a relative pin. But this is an absolute pin. The knight cannot move. If the knight moves, it's illegal. Right? So knight is pinned, which means we can capture something right now. We have a free piece to capture, piece or a pawn. This is just an exchange. Now you can take back, a pawn can take back, but there's something else you can take. The knight is defending the pawn right now, right? But we can still take the pawn. Knight can't take back. It's pinned. So we got a pawn for free. We have a similar tactic here. One of black's pieces is pinned. Which one is pinned? The bishop. But it's pinned by a bishop. So if you take it, it's still just equal. But because the bishop is pinned, one of black's pieces can be captured right now. It might look like it's not safe. But remember, the bishop can't move. It's pinned. Which means we just take the knight. He can't take our queen. It's pinned. If he plays bishop take bishop, we'll of course take back. That's just an exchange. But we got a knight for free. So this is how pins happen in games. When two pieces are in the same file or diagonal, that's when pins happen. That's when we can do a pin and win material. Let's now move on to skewers. Skewer is just like a pin, but in the reverse order. What do I mean by that? Let's look at this position. You can see king and queen are in the same diagonal. If you have a bishop, you could maybe pin the queen and king. For example, if you put a bishop here on this square, you'll be pinning the queen to the king, right? What if we do it in reverse order from the other side? How do we do it? We play queen g8. It's not exactly a pin, it's the opposite of a pin. The king has to move, and then we just take the queen. This is what a skewer means. So this is how we do skewers when pieces are in the same file or diagonal, skewers happen. We want the queen. Can you find the winning move here? Same idea, same tactic. Skewer. See, the king and rook are in the same line. So we just play bishop to g7 and we pick up the rook. Let's look at a slightly tougher question. White to play. Can you find the winning skewer? Which two pieces are in the same file or diagonal or rank? In the same line, basically. You can see that the rook and king are in the same line. But can we actually go there? Will the king take it? No, king can't take it. Bishop is supporting it. So we can play rook at 7. King has to move and we just pick up the rook. Pawn is coming this way, so can't take back. How about this question? What shall we do? Is there a skewer? You might think of doing bishop g4, pinning the rook. But then he'll just move the rook. We have to take back. And then he'll save his rook. We won't get anything. So then what we can do is, we can play rook takes rook. Make the king come there. Now we can still play bishop g4. This time, of course, king can't take it because pawn is supporting it. Right? So king will move and we take the rook. So we got a full rook thanks to this skewer. Let's look at another position. What could be the winning move here? This is a little bit tough question. You have to understand what's going on. Black has an extra queen and he's about to give checkmate to us. If you're not careful, next move, game over. But of course, you can also promote, right? But will that be enough? Will he give checkmate? No, we're promoting with a check. You might have thought of bishop f6, our first person skewer, but then the rook will take it. So that doesn't work. So we can't play bishop f6, but we can promote. We promote to a queen and we pick up his queen. That's it. And now there's no checkmate. We're up a queen and we're winning. So we can use forks, pins, and skewers in our games. As in, if there's a way to make it happen, we can make it happen. And if it's right in front of us, we just do the move and we win material. So forks happen all the time. And knight is the main piece that gives a fork usually. So knights can easily do forks, especially to king and queen or rook and king on this square, on the c7 square. When the king is over here, king is over here in the center, rook is in the corner, the knight just goes there and fork. That's very common when you play the game.